What's up, guys? Today I want to talk a little bit about why and how I got into audio, and especially audio reviewing on YouTube, because it was quite the journey. Sorry about that, guys. I gotta pick up a package from my leasing office because I don't really like holding them for too long, so they don't get mad. Got my mistress Gail, who works at the office there. I'm just kidding. Anyways, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, audio. So why I got into audio. So why don't we start with the YouTube section of it? Because I've been doing YouTube like as an idea, as a concept to be a creator on the website for years. Like I've really been thinking about it since I was probably, I want to say like 17 years old. I had this ambition that if I got to under 100, or if I got to 100,000 subscribers or something like that within a year, my stepfather would fly me out to LA to go to like the YouTube convention and stuff. Now that was back when I was hopeful about YouTube, because now that's like nowhere even close. And it's a lot more of a grind. And part of the reason why I'm introducing these vlogs is because I want to introduce a larger audience other than just the audio stuff. That was back when I was like bright-eyed and thought I could do anything and I could run the world. And I still think that, but it's like the timeline is gone from a year to like several years, And I know it's like progressive and stuff. Anyway, so I used to start with doing like, at first I was one of those guys who would copy, and I'm just being completely honest here. I was one of those guys who would like copy Casey Neistat's vlogging style. And it may have led to some success on the previous channel that I was on, but I never stuck with it. And I always felt wrong because I didn't feel like it was my own style. Like this right here, what I'm doing, like talking to the camera and like having my own personality behind it, and like not talking about stuff that people want me to talk about, and instead talking about things that I want to talk about because it's happier and it makes me laugh and stuff like that. This is the type of stuff that I want to do. And included in that, it was like this long shift. Like the development process for my creative process has been like a long journey to get where I am now. And I'm still learning and still trying to do things that I never knew I could do, and learn things that I never knew I could learn, and all that stuff. So it's an ongoing process. It's not cheap, it's not simple, it's not easy, it's not quick. It's just an ongoing thing. So I've been doing YouTube in like various channels. I tried gaming channels, I tried everything, and nothing was really taking hold. And at the same time, I got into gaming mice and gaming keyboards and gaming in general, and tried to make like channels off of that, and none of them really caught any traction. And then finally, one of the hobbies that I really got into, and to this day still love, is stop messaging me. It's the thing wrapped in gold. Oh, sorry. So one of the things that I love to this day is audio. Like I love speakers, I love headphones, and I mean, I love audio. Like it's something that I'm really passionate about. When I first got into it, to be completely honest, my grandmother passed away. She had left me a little bit of money. I decided to look at things to buy. Like, you know how it is, like when somebody you care about passes away, it's like you kind of are, sometimes, especially if they're not like super duper close to you, it hurts, but you kind of want to deny to yourself that it hurts. It was kind of in that range, and this is getting really depressing and morbid. But I was like trying to fill a void, and I felt like, okay, well, she left me this money. It wasn't enough to like start a business or buy a house or anything like that. So I was like, okay, well, she'd want me to spend it on something that I enjoy. And I always enjoyed audio, and I always loved music. I was really big into music, and I still am, but I was more into music than I was the actual like listening to audio and listening to music. And I always had this like massive archive of music. I never really had the funds for like a nice pair of headphones, and I didn't even really know what that meant. With the money, I ended up buying a shit stack and a HD 800s. I didn't like the way that they sounded because at that time I was still much more of a bass head. And so when somebody, came to me with, or when I bought the HD 800s, it was like just shock. I was like, this is it? Because at the time I thought like those were the pinnacle of what you could get. Like on what I could find for YouTube for like best headphones, it was HD 800s over and over and over again. And it was probably, because Sennheiser was sponsoring videos, and a lot of people do genuinely like the sound signature. I'm just not one of them. And so I was I was like listening to them like, this is it? This is the pinnacle of what you can get. And so I ended up returning them because I honestly, I hated them, and I wasn't willing to blow $1,000 on something that I just didn't like. And then I think 3 or 4 months went by. I ended up like getting back into audio, and I was like, okay, well, I know there's different sound signatures, obviously. So let me see if I can find something that's a little bit, more budget friendly and should still have great reviews. And I ended up with the HT600s, and the HT600s are like, to this day, what got me started in audio and one of the best pairs of headphones that I've ever heard. I don't know if it's because the nostalgia of it, or it's just a special place in my heart, maybe, I don't know, but I love those headphones. So that's kind of where the idea of YouTube and audio came together. And then I started researching like other YouTubers. I was like, is this even a thing? And then at first I found like, Z, of course, he's like the easiest to find. And so I was like, okay, well, he's doing this style. How can I relate other types of videos and mold my own style into them and come up with a legitimate review and an honest review, and something that I like doing and something that I like building. So that's kind of when the reviews started. And at first, I'll freely admit, they were pretty rough. Like, one, I didn't know really how to talk to a camera. Even still, like, I struggle, like, sometimes, like right now, I've been looking at the screen just because in my early days, and I moved the screen back so I'm no longer looking at it, so I'm just looking at the lens. In my early days when I first started filming, I had to make sure that I was constantly in focus, because the camera I had tended to like drift focus a lot, and it would show like a little square around the face, and I had to make sure that I was in it, and if I wasn't, I'd have to like redo the shot and stuff like that. The camera I have is much better. Like, it's 99% of the time it's super accurate. It's just like a bad habit that I have. And so all these videos in the beginning, they were super rough. Like, they were so bad. It's just been a process. Like, even, I want to say like a legitimate, like, I consider this channel to be like 6 months old. Because before, the reviews and videos were so sparse and so shittily put together that they could hardly even be considered like legitimate videos. And there's one particular video that I leave up because it has a ton of views, and in order to get monetization, I want to count the watch hours, and if I delete the video or private it, it removes the watch hours, and it has a lot of watch hours on that one video. So until I get monetization, it's gonna stay up. But it was one of my earlier videos. The information in it was just straight up wrong. The video quality was completely shit. Everything about this fucking video is horrible. Like, it's so bad. I'm embarrassed for the new comments on it. Like, the views on it, like, they know it's shit. Like, it's just like to hell and stuff like that. But, it's just one of those, like, learning process things. It was just something that, like, I got into. I thought I could do it. I thought I could run the world. And, I didn't think that I had to learn anything. And so I would just like take random bits of information and put it together and not research it entirely. And and I'm not saying that now I'm like some perfect reviewer or anything like that. Like, I fuck up on things all the time. In my T50RP, link in the description down below, review, I was saying that the soundstage sounds like it's like, when it's stock, it sounds like 1 foot to 10 feet away, and then with the pads that I was talking about putting on there, it was like 1 foot to like 15 feet. And one of the commenters was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's ridiculous for headphone. And it wasn't a mistake of my analysis of it, really. It was more just, I phrased it wrong. So it was more like if I imagine it in my head, that's what it feels like. It feels like that big of a difference. But I didn't state that correctly. And so, partially that kind of lends itself to delegitimizing my own self as a reviewer. And that kind of sucks, but it's all a process. Like, it's all learning. And with how many videos I have put up and I will put up, like, there's no way that I'm going to get everything 100% accurate. So, I take the shots as they come and take it on the chin when I fuck up. And there's videos that I've taken down and redone because they were just either wrong or horrible. T20 Eyes is one of those videos where I just said something completely wrong, so I had to redo the entire video because some of the premises were based or predicated off of what I had said. Anyway, so I just started, posting stuff, and I kept going and kept reviewing audio, and here we are today. Like, I'm closing in on 1,000 subscribers finally, and it's from November, so about 6 months since I started posting regularly. So not the worst progress in the world, but 6 months uploading, fairly regularly, it's a long time. It's a lot of work. But, I'm going to continue to do it, obviously, and I'm trying to implement new things like this kind of vlogging, just me personally talking to you style, because I think that's fun to do, and it's, it's not interesting to everybody, but it's interesting to me. I love watching the people that I'm interested in just banter and talk about their lives and tell funny stories and shit. And I have a ridiculously funny story about a first date that I had. You might want to check that out. Yeah, I don't know. I like talking to people. I like talking. I like telling stories, and I like hearing stories from you guys. So if you have any funny stories, leave them in the comment section down below. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike the shit out of it if you dislike it. And I guess I'll catch you guys in the next video. All right? Peace. Oh, psst, don't forget Instagram and Twitter and subscribe.